We're Maren and Angela of Homeschool Unrefined, and we're here to keep homeschool simple, real, and fun. Over the past 25 years, we've been friends, teachers, homeschool parents, and podcasters together. With our master's degrees and 20 years combined homeschooling, we're here to rethink homeschooling, learning, and education with an inclusive and authentic lens.
At Homeschool Unrefined, we prioritize things like giving yourself credit, building strong connections, respectful parenting, interest-led playing and learning, learning differences, mental health, self-care, and listening to and elevating LGBTQ+ and BIPOC voices.
We are here to encourage and support you, whether you're a new homeschooler, a veteran, you love curriculum, you're an unschooler, whether your kids are at home or all of your kids are in school or somewhere in between. Wherever you are on your journey, we're the voice in your head telling you you're doing great, and so are your kids.
We're back, Maren.
Yay!
We're so glad to be back. It's been a long time.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Yes, this is exciting.
So exciting. This is episode 193, Your Unique Homeschool. Since it's the beginning of the year, we want to talk about why your homeschool will look unique and how you can make it your very own. And then we'll end, like we always do, with our LTWs, Loving This Week.
We wanted to make sure that you knew about our newsletter that goes out weekly. When you sign up for it, you can get our top 100 inclusive book list free. We're really excited about this book list. We've worked on it a long time. We've got books for all ages, picture books, middle school, YA, and then we've got sections for graphic novels and audiobooks too. We're really, really excited about this. To make sure you get that book list, go to homeschoolunrefined.com/newsletter, or there will be a link in our show notes.
Oh, and the top 100 book list also has links, live links to the books, which is definitely such a great thing.
Yep.
We've started something new this season. We are bringing you 3 new sponsors for the entire fall season. We were very intentional about who we chose for sponsors. We really appreciate you taking the time to learn about them because we think they are really good companies. Also, they're giving discount codes, so you will want to listen for those. We're so happy to work hard on this podcast, and we appreciate the financial support in making it happen.
If you have been around a while, you know that we are picky about curriculum, and that's why we are excited to partner with Blossom and Root. Blossom and Root is a nature-focused secular curriculum, focusing on creativity, science, nature, literature, and the arts. Blossom and Root has been gently encouraging and supporting homeschool families around the globe since 2016. Blossom and Root currently offers curricula for pre-K through 5th grade, with new levels being added in the future. Additionally, a 3-volume inclusive U.S. history curriculum told from a variety of viewpoints is currently in development. As of August of 2022, Volume 1 is available for purchase, and Volume 2 is available on presale. All profits from this history curriculum, A River of Voices, will be used to support storytellers and artists from historically excluded communities. You can find samples, scope and sequences, and information about each of their levels online at blossomandroot.com. You can also find them on Instagram at Blossom and Root. Blossom and Root has created a special discount just for our listeners. Use the code HSUnrefined15 at checkout for 15% off of your purchase.
If you've listened to our podcast, you know we are passionate about outsourcing in homeschool. Outschool has been one of our very favorite ways to outsource. We know that kids who love to learn don't just prepare for the future, they create it. That's why Outschool has reimagined online learning to empower kids and teens to expand their creativity, wonder, and knowledge. Empathetic, passionate teachers encourage learners ages 3 to 18 to explore their interests, connect with diverse peers from around the world, and take an active role in leading their learning. Outschool has created a world filled with endless possibilities for every schooling journey. Explore over 140,000 fun and flexible live online classes to find the right fit for your family. And join us as we set learning free. Sign up today at outschooler.me/homeschoolunrefined and get up to $20 off your first class when you enroll with the code unrefined.
Maren and I both love creative ways to teach reading and writing. That's why we're excited to introduce you to Night Zookeeper. Is your child a reluctant writer? Do they struggle with reading? If your answer to either of these questions is yes, then Night Zookeeper may just be what you're looking for. Night Zookeeper is an online learning program for children aged 6 to 12 years old that uses a gamified and creative approach to help keep kids engaged and focused on developing awesome reading and writing skills, all while having fun at the same time. Some of the features we love include the educational games, the personalized feedback on writing from real tutors, and the super safe community pages where children can work with each other and learn together. If Night Zookeeper sounds like the perfect learning program for your child, you can try it for free by clicking on the link in the show notes. When you register, you'll get a 7-day risk-free trial, as well as a huge 50% discount off an annual subscription. That's a great deal, if you ask me.
All right, let's dive into our topic today, which is your unique homeschool.
Mm-hmm.
We picked this topic because it's the beginning of the year. And we know how it feels to be at the start. And if we look back, we've done lots of these episodes. We've talked a lot about starting the year, and we've also talked a lot about making homeschool our own.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, we're excited. And sometimes a little bit, we can be a little bit overly enthusiastic, not enthusiastic, but we might have our sights set a little bit high. I know that always happened to me. And sometimes we are doing maybe not too much, but maybe too much of what we think we should be doing.
Sure.
And not necessarily what is best for us and our kids.
It is so true. Like, we set up this, what looks like amazing on paper homeschool, the schedule, you've got a balanced amount of all subjects throughout the week, and you've picked out the perfect read aloud, and then 10 things happen that make it all kind of like go awry. Things go awry, and it's really easy especially at the beginning of the year, to just think, oh my goodness, I am not cut out for this, or my kids aren't cut out for this. This isn't going to work. I made all these plans and none of them worked out. And so right away at the beginning of the year, it can feel a little bit like, oh man, what a letdown, right away. But a lot of the times that is because we have set our expectations grand. We've set these grand expectations.
Yeah. And sometimes you might not think that right away because you're like, I'm already doing like less than I probably should be doing, or I'm already doing things a little bit differently maybe than I did last year, or I already feel like we're doing a slow start. And so like we haven't really even gotten going yet. And so it can feel like really we're not talking about you. But we are, because even though all of those things might be in place, something might just still feel off. Maybe your days are feeling hectic. Maybe there's not like an excitement or a spark.
Right.
Or maybe you're not getting to things that you wanted to get to. Or maybe your kids aren't excited about this right now, or something. There may be something off.
Right. Yeah. And it is true that even when we think we've pared it down, we're homeschooling, we're going to do less than what they might do at a traditional school during the day. Right. But I think often we have to cut that down, maybe even more, especially at the beginning of the year, But I would say probably a lot of the times we need to cut. We need to make what we're doing count, And so that means probably doing less than we even think we should. We thought we cut it down. We need to maybe cut it down even more.
And, that could be really hard, because even though we are doing things differently, I mean, you're homeschooling, so you are different than most people, right? You're
Right.
already bucking the system. You're already
Yeah.
bucking the system by homeschooling. Okay.
Right.
So even though you're doing things differently, we still we still strive a little bit for uniformity. We still want to make sure that we are checking all the boxes and that we are doing what we should be doing. And we still have this idea that if we're just doing all these things, everything's going to be okay. It's kind of like you want this control over your kids' education. It's a big deal, right? Your kids' education, and you are striving for this control that might be, it's an illusion. It's not really, we don't really have control, too much control. And so,
right. But it feels, especially when we're diving into it's a new endeavor maybe or something. And it just feels like it feels like we kind of need that. We need to hold on to something. And then the one thing, that we're holding on to, if, sometimes that doesn't pan out. And so it does feel like we do have to let go of that.
Right. Because here's the thing. If you are being authentic to who you are and who your kids are, your homeschool is going to look unique. It's going to look different than what you're seeing online. It's going to look different than anything we've ever done. It's going to look different than the person at your co-op or your neighbor or your sister-in-law or whoever is homeschooling. It is going to look different because you are being authentic to who you are and who your kids are.
And here's why you want to do that. You want to do that because we all learn best and most efficiently when we're doing the things that are interesting to us, when we're enjoying those things, when we have an emotional tie to them. And those things are going to be different for everyone. And so our homeschool is going to look different.
Yeah. And, not only that, but every person learns differently, which is something we talk about a lot.
Right.
Every person learns differently. So some people, like to sit at a table and do more of the traditional book and a notebook type of learning. Some people like to read with their eyes. Some people need to be getting up and moving around. Some people need to be traveling or having adventures, or some people need to be playing Legos and listening to an audiobook or whatever. There's a lot of different ways that learning can happen. And so if you want that for yourself and your children, because if they're taking in the information, if they're learning authentically, then that's going to be also efficient and effective.
It is. It's going to be efficient. And if that is what helps you wrap your mind around having a unique homeschool, then go with it. Because when your homeschool is uniquely yours, it is most efficient. It really is. And it might seem like all frivolous things, but it is actually the most learning for your time. It is actually the most learning for your time. It's not fluffy. It's actually deep, dense work that's happening, but it's because it's you're diving into what your kids are super excited about. That's where the best meaty learning happens. And so just savor that, give yourself credit for all that learning that's happening that's uniquely geared towards your kids. It's so exciting.
For sure.
And oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, there's a reason you're not in school, right? What is that reason? What is the reason that your kids aren't in school? Well, it's because you need something different. I mean, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is for you, but you needed something different. And so your homeschool does not have to look like school. It does not have to look like school in the number of hours. It doesn't have to look like school in the number of days. It does not have to look like school in the time of day. It does not have to look like school in the subjects that you are doing. It does not have to look like sitting at a desk like they do at school. School does things, and school is good for a lot of kids, right? But school is working with a classroom of 30 kids, and they are working within constraints that you don't have. You have this freedom at home to do things that are best for your child. So make it look different, because that is your advantage to being at home.
I think this is such a big mistake of many homeschoolers. I will put myself in this category too. Some big mistakes that we've probably all made is the reason why we took our kids out of school. We recreate those things at home. Like, it was really hard for my child to do, I don't know, fractions in fourth grade. And then you take them home and you're like, okay, but you still have to do fractions in fourth grade.
Yeah, you're in
or
fourth grade.
something, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you have in the back of your mind, like, oh, but my kid still needs to learn this, and it's still really important. And I'm just gently asking you, why? Why do
Mhm.
you think that? You should just question these assumptions that you are repeating or that you hold
Mhm.
in your head. And I'm not saying it's not important. I'm not saying fractions aren't important. I'm just
Right,
saying,
right, right. No, no,
ask
no. Absolutely not. Yeah.
ask yourself, just question the things that you are holding dear
Right.
at this time.
Another thing that I think, we take our kids home from school because of, it might be some mental health issues or, like they need more connection. They need more
Mm,
connection. And so we bring them home and then, it's very easy to be like, okay, we can connect, but then we also have to do all these things. So I would say if that's where you're at right now, like 80-90% of your day should be, just fostering the connection. It doesn't have to be much of academics at all. Maybe it's nothing right now,
mm,
so I'm just saying there is time for the academics or whatever it is that, you are feeling kind of rigid about right now. There's going to be time for that, and it's going
mhm.
to happen, and it's going to happen efficiently and effectively after you've created this unique homeschool for yourself, this,
Yep.
the environment, the vibe, the connection, the
Yeah.
the enjoyment. If
Yep.
create that first,
Mhm.
get that established, and you can always pull in things. You might have to sneak them in. You might be able to do blocks of whatever, the fractions or whatever. But like create the environment first, and that's going to
That's
be
so good.
so unique. Yeah.
That's so good. One thing that I always strive for too is I wanna have kinda like what you're talking about. I wanna have, like, a balanced life, and I don't
Yes.
really know how to say this other than, like, I kinda want my weekends to look similar to my weekdays. You know how in a
To not to be, yeah.
traditional school or traditional work environment, you're like, "Oh, thank gosh, it's Friday.
Oh yeah.
Like, I can finally relax. It's Saturday, whatever." And
And
then you
then the
kinda
Sunday dread,
yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah, and you're, like, gearing up for a week that you, like,
mhm.
hate or that you're
Mhm.
just not looking forward to. I
Yeah.
wanted my kids and myself to be able to look forward to the week and look forward to
Yes.
every day. Like, this is balanced. We have enough time of rest. We have enough time of enjoying what we're doing.
Yep.
Yes, there are also some challenges and some things that are hard, but it doesn't have to take up the entire week. And then it
Right.
can feel like this balance between like hard work and play and all of the things that are needed in a human life, basically.
Right, right. A self-regulated life.
Yes,
Exactly. It's
yes,
so, so,
yes.
so true. So how do we do this? How do we create this unique homeschool that we really, really want, but we also feel just pulled towards the needs and the
Yeah.
control sometimes.
Yeah, and I think this starts with really like knowing yourself and your
Yes.
children.
Yep.
And I know we talk about this so much but it's true, really getting to know yourself and getting to know your kids and not only like how they learn, but like what they're interested in
Yeah.
and what they
Yep.
want to learn is the thing. It is crucial in hearing them and not just hearing them, but like validating what they are interested in and
Yes.
validating
Yeah.
who they are and lifting that up as being, like, really important. It's not a
Oh,
hindrance, it's not a roadblock to what you need to get done. It is it is the thing that you are working with. It is the reason you're here, and so, like, use that to
yes.
create this life, this homeschool life.
That is mind blowing what you just said. I want to say that we talk about this a lot in our back to school summit, which is available. You can go to our website or our Patreon, and you'll find it.
It's
You'll
free for
figure out
patrons.
it's free.
So if
It's
you
free
join.
for
Yep.
patrons. I mean, we talk about this a lot of asking our kids, and we go through specifically how to do that, how to go through, this process where we figure out the school we want to create, the home we want to create. with our kids.
Right. So it involves, like getting to know them and asking, like I just talked about, things that they're interested in, things that they want to do,
Yep,
things that
yep.
they want to prioritize. And then there will also be things that are important to you as the parent,
Right,
like,
right, yeah,
yeah, you
absolutely.
know what? Math is important to me. And we do have to do that. Or you might have, something else that's also really important to you. But it's kind of a way of really listening to your kid first and foremost, and then also like sneaking in or fitting in a few things that are important to you too. Yeah.
And also, I mean, it is just as valuable. What they really want is just as valuable as what you want. And so it's okay to say, well, this is really important to me. Let's figure out how we can work it all
Right.
in together. I would say also when you learn together about yourselves and what unique things you want to bring into your homeschool, maybe it's rock climbing, maybe it's, lots of trampoline time. I don't know. What is it? What's the thing that's like just fires your kids up? And
Maybe it's friends. A lot of time it's
maybe
friends.
friends time.
Mhm.
Yeah, lots of friends. It might be creating your own YouTube channel. I don't know, but I would say whatever those things are, I I would wager to guess you're probably going to need at some point in your homeschool some unstructured time.
Mm.
And that just gives them this, maybe an extended amount of time to do the thing that they're super interested in doing without, a parent led kind of thing. It's like their time to explore and create and enjoy their interests however they want to. And there can be times like obviously when there's parent support and things like that, but unstructured time does it feels like there's not much control there, but it also, and there can be certainly parameters around that, but that I have found that unstructured time is often what makes has made our homeschool very unique, because everybody's
Yeah.
doing the thing that
Yeah.
they
Oh yeah.
really are
Yes.
passionate or excited about or interested
Yes.
in or just learning about for the first time. It's just,
Mhm.
you never know where they're going to be on that spectrum, but it's so fun to watch.
Maren, this is so important, this unstructured time,
Mhm.
because it's a win-win for everybody. I know as a parent, you need a break. I know
Yeah.
you do. I
Mhm.
know you work so hard
It is
and
a
you are
win-win. Yeah.
you are not only homeschooling,
Yeah.
but also doing everything around the house and parenting and a million other things and
Right.
maybe working and
Yeah.
maybe you have a partner and I don't know. I know you're busy. And or
No.
you probably have a baby. You probably have a lot of babies. I don't know. You're probably really really busy and you need a break from homeschooling. This is what you take it. Take this unstructured time. Build it in. Every day from noon to 1 or noon to 2 or noon to 3 or whatever it is, however you want to structure it, we have unstructured time. This is when you
Yes.
can do whatever you are interested in. Do it.
Totally. Totally. And it's not just the side time. This is not like after you've done all the important things, I'm going to give you this extra side time or whatever. No, no,
Mhm.
no. This is the meat. This is the heart of your homeschool.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, Maren, I anticipate the buts or the
Mhm.
questions people are gonna the main question right now is probably like, well, what if my kid just wants to play on the iPad the whole time of their unstructured time? Like, what would you say to that?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, everybody has their own boundaries on screen time.
Yeah.
I would say screen time is a valid thing to
Yeah.
do during unstructured time. There's a lot of actually, when we say iPad time or screen time, we clump that all into this bad category.
Mm. Yeah.
Find out what they're actually doing on their screen time.
Mhm.
Maybe they're, I don't know, learning how to do something on
There's
YouTube.
a lot of good stuff that could be happening.
You never know. And it could be, or maybe it could be something that you initially cringe at. Oh, they're watching a gamer on YouTube. I think that is dumb. I do not like that, or whatever. But I just want to challenge you to number one, open your mind towards to like, what are the positive qualities of that? There probably are some. So I would say number one, allow some of that.
Mhm.
Also have your own boundaries for it too.
Yep.
It's okay if you are uncomfortable with the amount of time they're getting influenced by this one YouTuber or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're right. You're probably right about that.
Yep.
There are some for sure boundaries that can and should be in place, and talk about it and discuss why you're doing that too, for sure. So your kids understand, but they need to be heard, but then they also need to, understand the boundaries. And so I think it's, but then also, what are those? Okay, dig more into like, what are those interests that they're, actually into? They're doing screen time, but what's the underlying like interest? Maybe you can draw something out of that that's not on screens too. There's a lot of things, like maybe this screen time goes along with a project, or I don't know. Who knows?
It might. And then you also want to be careful not to ruin their love by creating a project that they have to do during
Which
their
I've done.
unstructured time. I know we've all done
I've
that.
done several times. Yeah, you do want them to be able to own that time and really feel like it's theirs. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I've done this several different ways. I've been like, yeah, have at the screen time. I've also been like, well, you can do anything except screen time right now. I want you to like think of different, I want you to think of other things that you're interested in. And also, I have to say, like, this really depends on the child because, like,
Yes.
each one of my kids would handle this differently. And I would probably parent differently around each of them. So, you have, again, it's about knowing yourself and your kids and what works for everybody.
Yes.
But just the point is, like, having some time to be like, hey, what do I really want to do? Can you imagine if somebody said that to you right now? Like, hey, Angela, right now for the next 3 hours, you only can do something that you're interested in. Like,
oh my gosh. Yeah.
like, I would be so excited. Like, you can't do any chores. You can't, like,
Can't do any
read
grocery
out.
shopping.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, no cleaning.
You can only do your interest right now.
How exciting.
Yeah, that would be really exciting. So give your child that gift. And again, it doesn't have to be 3 hours. It could be one
Right.
or whatever.
Exactly. Whatever fits your unique homeschool, it's yours. Yeah. And then also, just under this category of how I want to reiterate, you may have to just do less. Check in with yourself, check in with your kids. How are you feeling? Are you feeling stressed? Is there anything, that's causing this stress? And it may be that you've still like just planned and strived really hard and to make this homeschool,
Mm-hmm.
successful. And it can feel like a lot of work. So I would just say, it's okay to do less.
It's okay to do less because here's the thing, you're playing the long game. You don't have to 10 subjects every week for every year of your child's life. You just don't. And so, if you're making sure that you do everything right now, you really don't have to do that. You can just pick out the things that are the priority and save the rest for later. And sometime that thing will come up in a way that is authentic to everyone involved. And that's when you do that. And if it doesn't, you find a way to fit it in at some point. You know what? We've never actually done, I don't know, US history, or we've never done geography or whatever. You know what? We should probably do that. And then you will find a way to do it. It does not need to be every year, every week.
Yep, exactly.
So give yourself the gift of doing a little bit less. Here's the good news. You can always add more.
Yep.
You can always add more. You can add more if you need to. If you do less and you're like, this isn't really feeling right, you don't have to do that. You can add more to make it feel better.
Yep. That's awesome.
All right.
Okay. Well, I hope you found some nuggets that are going to help you this week in your homeschool.
That's kind of what we're always going for. It's just a little bit of encouragement to let you know that we know you work hard and you're doing great. You're doing great.
Yep. And we're not here to add more things to your plate. We're never here to add more. We're here to, if anything, take things off of your plate and help you feel like where you're at right now is great.
Yes, definitely.
You're doing great right now. So, all right.
All right, let's move on to our loving this week's.
Yes.
We're really excited to get back to these.
Yeah.
They're one of our favorite parts of our episodes. So, Maren, what are you loving this week?
Okay, I'm loving an app. Actually, there's an app for me. that I like to use. It's called Pomodoro, and it's this
Mm.
work method of working for 25 minutes and then taking a break for 5 minutes. And I've been doing some longer projects, and this has been really great for me, especially with someone with ADHD, is to help me know, like, it's just an app, and I start it and I see visually the timer going down
Okay.
from 25 minutes down to 0. And I know exactly how long I'm going to be sitting at a computer and working. And then I know I'm going to have a 5-minute break. And then it starts my 5-minute break as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm loving it because it's just like it's a limited amount of time that I know that I'm going to be working.
Does it shut off like your distractions on your phone for that time too, or do you still get
No,
texts and stuff?
it doesn't, but no. I wonder
you
if
just
there may be an option for that, and I don't know. I know
Okay.
there are some apps that do that.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
You did tell me about this and I didn't
Mhm.
get it, but I did start implementing it with just
Oh yeah. Yeah.
with my timer
And
on
that's
my
great
phone.
too.
And I
Yes, yes.
have to say, it is really nice to be, because then at the end you can be like, I just worked for 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you feel accomplished.
Right. And it has been proven that you do need those little breaks for your brain. I mean,
You do.
yes.
You need those breaks.
Mm-hmm.
So you're
And
not tempted to go like an hour.
Right, because it gets less efficient, to work that long. It does. Your brain just is less efficient when you're working that long and a deeper thing. So anyway, and then there's this one, there's also an app that is specifically for kids that is similar, and it's called Study Bunny Focus Timer, BUNNY.
Okay.
And so one of my kids just got this, and it's a cute little gamified version of this where you can earn points and you can set your timer, and it's much shorter. There's a cute little bunny that times you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it looks a lot like a little game, and yeah, you get points and you can buy things within the app with the points. And it also, and I haven't explored this a ton, but there is a visual tracker too. It'll show you there's very colorful like little bar graph that'll show you like how long you spent on each of each of these things. So you can say, I want to read for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And put that on there. So
that sounds great. And I have to say, like, this could work for any kid, not just a kid who has ADHD, or not just an adult who has ADHD, but like this works for anybody.
It really does. It does. It's a widely used apps, both of these.
That's awesome.
So many people. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, Angela, what are you loving this week?
All right, I'm loving my favorite show came back for season 3, and I had to tell everybody about it. It's called Never Have I Ever.
Yes.
It's on Netflix. This is a Mindy Kaling production. I probably have talked about season 1 and 2 on here before because I love it so much. Yes, it's a teenage show. It is about high school, but you love what you love. And I love
you love what you love.
High school shows. I'm into those. Not all of them. I'm into well done high school shows. This is well done. This is well written. This is creative. This is the characters in season 3. If you've watched season 1 and 2 and you haven't watched 3 yet, 3 is the best. The characters have developed.
Really?
They are learning from their mistakes. I would, in fact, I want my kids to watch this because they're good role models for your teens. I feel like,
that's
right?
Awesome.
Just in the way that they handle situations,
which is so great because it doesn't shy away from issues.
No.
And yet it's still a good positive show.
When I say they're good role models for my teens, I don't mean that they don't make mistakes and they don't do things that I wouldn't want my teens doing. Like, there's some drinking and sex and stuff like that. So, but what I mean by is like the way they communicate, the way they are inclusive, the way they are growing and learning from their mistakes, I think is really, really, really well done. That's the best. I think this is top notch. And the actors are amazing. Just love it. It's on Netflix.
Yes.
10 episodes each season. I'm not embarrassed to say I binge them like in one sitting when it comes out. So I love them so much.
Well,
I
and Mindy
love 'em.
Kaling, you can't go wrong. I mean, she's just wonderful. So
Cannot go wrong. So
Mm-mm.
if you haven't watched it, you want to check it out.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here for our first episode back for the fall 2022 season. We want to thank again our 3 sponsors for the season, Blossom and Root, Outschool, and Night Zookeeper. You should go to our show notes and check out their links and their discounts. This podcast is created and hosted by Angela Sizer and Maren Gorse. We are listener supported. To get extra content and the Back to School Summit free with your membership, go to patreon.com/homeschoolunrefined. Subscribe to our newsletter and get our free top 100 inclusive book list at homeschoolunrefined.com/newsletter. You can find Maren on Instagram at unrefinedmaren and you can find Angela at unrefinedangela.